As the government and BP work on containing the Gulf oil disaster, Congress is under pressure to make sure it doesn't happen again. That means the debate over the nation's energy policy is back in the forefront. So what will the oil spill mean for U.S. energy policy? Joining us now from Capitol Hill is Senator James Inhofe, ranking member of the Senate Environment and Public Works Committee. Senator, great to see you today.
Nice to be with you, Shannon.
All right, we understand the president is going to push for legislation when he addresses the nation from the Oval Office tomorrow night. Is it appropriate right now?
Well, no, it's totally inappropriate. What he's going to try to do, and he has all but said this, is to try to parlay the tragedy in the Gulf into passing a cap-and-trade bill. And there was a document that just came out today that clearly states that. This is a letter to the top Obama supporters saying that we want to all come to the White House and move forward on legislation to promote an economy powered by green jobs and to combat climate change. Then he goes on to talk about cap and trade. He said the House of Representatives has already passed one. That's the Waxman-Markey bill. You've talked about that a lot. Everyone's aware of what it is. And that bill would, he said, we could do something in the Senate to achieve the same goal. I've said so many times, Shannon, on your program and other programs that cap and trade is dead. The American people know that it wouldn't accomplish anything and that it would be the largest tax increase in the history of America. I still think it's dead, but they haven't given up and they're going to try to use the oil spill.
Well, and Senator, do you think there'll be some semantics at play here? Because a lot of people will say, yeah, this is a good opportunity to look at our energy policy and making some changes. But energy policy and cap and trade, as you point out, are two very different things.
Well, they are. First of all, if you have cap and trade, that's going to be a very complicated, very expensive system of putting a carbon tax on. Logically you could say, why not just tax carbon? It would be a lot cheaper. The reason is, then people would know how much it's costing them. The interesting thing about this is that the director of the EPA, and this is Obama's director, Lisa Jackson, stated that it was that if we were to pass cap and trade, or even all of these things that we are trying to do through the Clean Air Act, it would not lower greenhouse gas emissions at all, because that's just in the United States, and that's not where the problem is.
Well, Senator, let me ask you about an interview the president did with Politico, and he talked about the fact that there were some on Capitol Hill, had he tried to come there and talk about energy policy or cracking down on these oil companies, there would have been a lot of people, and he said, I'm not going to name names, but people who would have fought me on that. Do you take that as a swipe for you or anyone in your party?
Oh, I think it is, but let's keep in mind, Politico in that same article talked about Joe Beninson, who's the president. He's Obama's top campaign guy. I think we know who he is. He did a survey that was announced just in today's Politico, and in that, Beninson, that's the Obama guy, said that pushing for cap and trade and tying opposition to big oil is a potent political weapon for Democrats against Republicans this fall. I think that's just outrageous, and I don't think it'll work. I think the American people are smarter than that.
All right, Senator Inhofe, we will watch and see how this plays out. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you, Shannon.